The Osun State Governor Gboyega Oyetola has lost his re-election bid for a second term in office to the candidate of the opposition People's Democratic Party, Senator Ademola Adeleke. iBrandTV earlier reported that Adeleke won 17 of the 30 local government areas in the state, while the incumbent governor of the All Progressive Congress candidate Gboyega Oyetola won the remaining 13 local government areas. While Adeleke scored a total of 403,371 votes in the Saturday, July 16 Osun State governorship election, Gboyega Oyetola polled 375,027 votes. Now, iBrandTV senior correspondent Aiboje Kwara joined us via audio call from Osun State. Good morning, Aiboje. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Hello, Margaret. It's nice hearing the voice this morning. A lovely morning here in Osun State.
All right, yeah. Tell us first, let's have the report in Osun State after the election, after post-election, scenario in Osun State right now.
The state is relatively calm and peaceful. Of course, you understand that people want to express themselves in terms of solidarity with the governor-elect, the PDP candidate, Senator Adeleke. Nigerians are quick to celebrating victory and all of that. Don't forget that some persons who are even in the camp of the incumbent governor will be moving right now to go and show their support for the one who has been elected as a governor-elect of the state. Now everywhere is calm and cool, celebrations going on, but the APC has not actually come out to do certain things that ought to have been done. The national chairman of the party has even went ahead to say that he's not aware if his party has lost an election in Osun State.
All right, now 403,371 votes as opposed to 375,027 votes for an incumbent governor. What do you think happened and the people of Osun State had to have a re-election? Of course, I'm chose someone else.
Margaret, let's do a proper analysis of what has happened in Osun. What has happened in Osun has nothing to do with the PDP to me or the APC. It's the people just trying to make a statement that probably they don't want the government, the incumbent government in the state, and they want to make another choice. Because if it's a total decision of the people saying they want to go to the PDP, we would have been saying a very large margin, like a very large margin that we did not witness in this. The margins are close, so with a little of thousands, the margins are still very close when it comes to election matters. Now, if you look at some of the parameters and some of the activities that led to this election, you will understand that the APC had an internal ranking before this election. They went into the election with an internal ranking, which of course is between the candidate of the All Progressive Congress, I mean the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that of the minister, Arubushola, who controls part of the votes in that particular state, whose supporters in that particular state, Osun State, are also doing well as far as the APC is concerned. And we're not able to resolve that crisis even while we're pretending about it. Don't forget that the house divided against the Senate cannot stand. And this reflected in the vote, even while the APC in the state were saying that it doesn't matter, Arubushola does not have an effect, a negative effect in the party's polling a majority number of votes. But we saw it coming. We saw it on Saturday when the votes were trickling in. We saw it when the results were being announced that though he was not around, he had traveled to America saying that he's not around. But of course, he must have told his followers, those who are loyal to him, to pitch tent with the People's Democratic Party because he was actually angry with where the party is going to. Now, let's look at the people who are involved in the process before the election. Don't forget that the candidate of the People's APC, the presidential candidate, Chief Ahmed Tinubu, was also in Osun State to campaign for the candidate of the All Progressives Congress, who is the incumbent governor, to say that they should vote for him, and all of that went with so many other governors to do the campaign. Now, a day before the election, a day before the end of campaign for election, the PDP also mobilized its presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, who is the former vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where you also have so many other governors, where you have Governor Godwin Obaseki from Edo State, you have the vice presidential candidate also, who is the current governor of Delta State. You have so many other governors right there on the ground and to do a campaign. Yes, some people would say the winner of this election garnered what you call sympathy votes, owing to the fact that 4 years ago he was almost placing the position, the one position of the state, and we had a rerun election, and before you know it, he was thrown out of the game. Now, some people want to go by that effect to say the people now decided that this time they are going to make it, and some other people want to say because of the intimidation and oppression to the People's Democratic Party by the incumbent government, the people of Osun decided to say, no, we are sympathizing with this man, let us give him our mandate. You know, a day before the closure of campaigns for elections, the PDP was supposed to be using the stadium for the campaign, the final campaign, the rally, and they were banned from using that stadium, and they went onto the street where they did a last-minute campaign, where we saw some other persons on the street, and the roads were all closed.
Okay.
Now, one other factor that we are looking at that may have also affected this change is, let's look at the personalities of the persons involved in the campaign. The director of campaign for the PDP, you know, is the Bayelsa State Governor, who was on the ground to ensure that everything was done and done appropriately. Don't forget how Dewey came into power in Bayelsa State and unseat the governor of Bayelsa State, and is now the present governor of that state. And also, let's look at side by side the directors of campaigns and strategies for these two political parties. In the other camp, you have the Lagos State Governor, who is also in the other side. What is the experience of someone when you want to compare side by side with the experience of Dorothy and some other persons in the other side, like Bukola Saraki? These guys were on the ground. We saw them moving, talking to people. They were not resting their hours. Whereas where you're supposed to be having the APC on the other side talking to people, they are busy trying to see if they can resolve their issues before the election and before the eve of the election.
Okay, I got you.
That I think may have contributed to the PDP winning this election. Okay,
thank you so much. I mean, you've explicated, you know, the various scenario that would, come forth about the victory for Senator Ademola Adeleke. Now, let's look at it. It's 2 days after the announcement of results. What is the atmosphere like? Are people still, tripping out to the streets in celebration, or there's now, relative calm? Okay, I think I'm a bit of, network issues there. But I like the fact that, he gave a broad view of the various instances that could have warranted Senator Ademola Adeleke winning. We know quite well that APC had internal issues even before then. So it's no surprise that, the PDP were more united going into the polls than the APC. But having said that, I would really like to see if the celebration has, continued into the second day or ended yesterday, which was a day after the elections. But I think overall, the people have made their voices and intent known. And more importantly, we should see how the transition, because we know quite well that in Nigerian politics sometimes it's always difficult to have a smooth transition from one opposition to another. So it will be interesting to see how that pans out. Yeah,
well, like you had said, it was really interesting to see how. Well, I had a lot of questions for Ayeboji, but then we just have to take another break right now. We'll take a short break right now. We'll come back with more conversations on this topic. We'll be right back.